The twin suns of Meridian Prime burned low over the horizon, casting long violet shadows across the city of Caertal. The air shimmered with heat and dust, and the scent of ozone lingered after the day's energy storms. Among the bustling traders, diplomats, and starfarers walking the glimmering streets was a girl who tried to make herself invisible. Her name was Lyra, and she was not from Meridian Prime. Her smooth silver skin and luminescent eyes marked her as a Zenthari, a species whose homeworld had been destroyed decades ago. The surviving Zenthari had been scattered across the galaxy, refugees, beggars, and in many places, slaves. Though their people once possessed vast telepathic abilities and advanced sciences, centuries of persecution had reduced them to a shadow of what they had been. Lyra swept the streets outside a scrapyard, working for half a meal credit a day. Her employer, a thick-bodied alien named Groth, treated her with the same respect one gives broken machinery. "Faster, shimmer skin," he barked. "If I see one speck of rust left, you'll sleep in the cold tunnels tonight." Lyra bowed her head. "Yes, sir." She was 16, young by human standards, though Zenthari matured slower. Her kind were feared because of their eyes, which could sometimes see the truth of a being, their emotions, their guilt, their secrets. But Lyra had learned to suppress her gifts long ago. Using them only brought punishment. That night, after Groth locked up, she climbed to the rooftop of the scrapyard. The twin moons of Caertal glowed soft blue, and she could see the distant streaks of ships leaving the atmosphere. Humans, mostly. Humanity had come to Meridian Prime a decade ago, building trade colonies and research stations. They were loud, impulsive, and full of ambition. And unlike most species, they didn't seem to hate the Zenthari. Lyra often watched them from afar, wondering what it must feel like to be treated as more than an object of pity or disgust. She didn't know that by the next sunrise, one of them would change her life forever. The next day, while Lyra was sorting through scrap, a loud crash echoed through the yard. She turned to see a small shuttle, smoke pouring from its engines, skidding across the metal piles before slamming into a heap of copper coils. Groth cursed and ran toward it. Lyra followed, heart pounding. The hatch hissed open, and a human man stumbled out, coughing. He was tall, messy-haired, and his uniform was scorched from the crash. "By the stars," Groth growled. "You crash on my property. That'll cost you." The human wiped his brow. "Sorry, Ion Storm knocked out my NAV system. I just need to make a call for repairs." Groth's eyes gleamed with greed. "That'll be 100 credits." Lyra bit her lip. 100 credits was robbery. The man didn't argue. He just looked around, noticing her. For a moment their eyes met. His were a deep brown, filled with curiosity rather than contempt. He smiled faintly. "Hey there." Lyra froze. No one ever spoke to her that way. Hello," she whispered. Groth shoved her aside. "Don't talk to her. She's just a labor drone." The man frowned. "She's not a drone, she's a person." Groth laughed harshly. "Person. She's a Zenthari. They're nothing." Lyra's stomach twisted. She wanted to disappear. But the human's next words cut through the noise like light through fog. "Then maybe it's your eyes that are broken." Groth blinked. "What did you say?" "I said," the human repeated, stepping forward, "you're blind if you can't see someone standing right in front of you." Groth's face turned purple with rage. But before he could strike, the human tossed him a small identification chip. "Name's Captain Elias Varron, Terran Fleet. I'll pay for the damages. And I'll be taking her with me." Lyra's breath caught. What?" Groth sputtered. "You can't just take her. She's under contract." Then I'll buy out her contract. Elias' tone left no room for argument. How much? Groth hesitated. Elias flashed a pouch of human trade credits, and greed won over bigotry. With a grunt, the alien handed over a datapad. Fine. Take your shimmer skin. Lyra stared, stunned, as the captain turned to her. You okay? He asked gently. No one had ever asked her that before. Over the next few days, Lyra traveled with Elias aboard his small starship, the Solace. It was cramped but clean, and she had her own cabin, a miracle in itself. Elias repaired his ship while Lyra helped where she could, learning names for tools she'd never seen, tasting human food, and listening to music that made her chest ache in a way she couldn't explain. One night, as the ship drifted through a quiet nebula, she sat by the viewport, watching streaks of blue plasma drift like fireflies. Elias joined her, handing her a mug of warm cocoa. You've never been off Meridian before, have you? He asked. Lyra shook her head. I've never been free. He leaned back, studying her face. You know, back on Earth, people used to think we were alone in the universe. Then we met others. Some good, some not so much. But you Zenthari. You were legends. My father used to tell me stories about your people. How they could heal with a touch, speak without words. Lyra's eyes shimmered. Those days are gone. Maybe not, Elias said softly. You're still here. That means something. For the first time she smiled. Not the forced kind she wore for survival, but something real. Weeks turned into months. Lyra learned to pilot, to read human languages, and even to laugh. But the galaxy was not kind to outcasts. One day, while docked at a neutral station, a squad of mercenaries recognized her species and tried to capture her for a bounty. Elias fought them off, injured but alive. When she begged him to let her go to keep himself safe, he shook his head. I didn't save you to watch you disappear into fear again. You're worth more than they'll ever understand. In that moment, something inside Lyra awakened, a spark she hadn't felt since childhood. Her telepathic gifts flared back to life, pure and brilliant. She reached out not to read Elias's thoughts, but to feel them. Warmth, courage, and a quiet sorrow for all he'd lost. I see you, she whispered. Truly. He smiled weakly. And I see you too. Years later, the galaxy came to know the legend of Captain Elias Varyn and the Zenthari ambassador Lyra. Two beings who defied hatred and built something greater. When Lyra stood before the Galactic Council to negotiate peace between their species, her silver skin glowed under the light. She thought of the scrapyard, of the dust and the pain, and of the human who'd looked past all of it. Once she had been treated like nothing. Now she carried everything he'd given her: hope, freedom, and the courage to change the stars themselves. And the universe, at last, began to see her for who she truly was.